Hey there, it's Sue. So I had a question about using the transform layer, and so I figured it's just better to show you, okay? So what you're going to do is make sure you're in your background layer, okay, or your main layer, and then you're going to select what you want to transform. So in this case, I want to show you how I got the curtain kind of fluttering. And this is a dud image. I was going for motion, so I'm out of focus and blurry, so just don't pay attention to the quality. Okay, so anyway, you can do that in two ways. Usually I end up using the rectangular marquee tool because I'm lazy, but in this instance I want to be a little bit more precise. I'm going to use the lasso tool. So I'm literally just going to select it, and it doesn't have to be perfect, obviously, because I've had way too much coffee and I'm all shaky. Okay, and as long as you meet the end of the screen, it'll grab the rest. Okay, so now I have my selection, and again, I'm in my background layer. So what we're going to do is go into Edit and Transform. Okay, and from here, there's so many options to play around with, and really it's just a matter of preference of what you're looking for and really what you want to do. So you can play around with it. That's how I learned, is really by messing up a whole lot. So anyway, what we were going to do is, she was using distort, I think was the dilemma. So let's click on distort. Of course, they all do similar but very different things, so confuse you. Okay. So now we're going to distort it. And you can literally just go wah wah and just see what it does. Okay, and I usually use a combination of stuff. And again, when I create, I just make a big old mess and then I clean it up later. So I'm not really worried too much unless I'm feeling lazy, and then that way I would pay attention to this part right here where it meets the molding. Or I probably will just take that molding out later anyway. So anyway, so here we go. We can play around with that. And then maybe we're like, okay, better, but it looks weird. So what we could do is just go back to transform. I'm trying to show it the easiest way. And I love warp. So let's go to warp. I'm kind of a control freak, and it gives you a lot of points to kind of mess around with. And if I want to make it bend and kind of more wiggly, I would go this route. And that's what I want. I want that bend so it almost looks, whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but whatever. Where it almost looks like a breeze kind of caught it in there. I guess I dragged that there, which I didn't want. Okay. So you can do that. And you can just pick any of these little points and literally just drag them where you like. So that works for me. Okay. And then I'm paying attention to these two. You can kind of see the blinds underneath. So if I want to keep them, you know, where they make sense, I have to pay attention. Otherwise, I would just take care of them later. So let's go back. So transform, and you can do perspective, which means obviously you can make it like it's coming at you. I love to do that with overlays. Birds flying, you want it to look like they're coming at the camera. That's an awesome one to use. Or vice versa, where they fly away. Okay, so you can probably tell I'm obsessed with birds. So, okay, so I'm kind of loving that. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go back to free transform, or control or command, I should say, T. Okay, so that to me looks pretty good for my lazy editing. And so I'm just going to hit OK. Ta-da! Okay, and then this will be annoying, so just click off. And then what I would do is just clean it up, of course. And, you know, there's lots of tools over here where you can do the spot healing. I love the clone stamp tool. I don't know, it's just everybody has a different way of doing it. But I don't need to get too crazy because I'm going to play around with the motion blur. And so let's see, I added it beforehand, so you can kind of take that down, make it a little crazier. So yeah, and to make the motion blur, I just went into my filter tab, and what did I do? Okay, blur. And then there's a million different things you can do here. Radial blur is kind of fun. Actually, I like to make a duplicate layer because it rocks your world. So, whatever. We'll just make it, call it whatever we want. Okay. So layer, filter, blur. We're in blur. Okay. So you can do pretty much whatever you want. You can do a motion blur. So you can kind of see the look that I was going for here. And you can actually pick where you want the motion to go. You know what angle. It's like messing with my face, which cracks me up, but whatever. I want it to appear to be going whoop this way. So distance, you can just kind of mess around with it. This is more of what I was looking for. And then you can hit OK. Okay. And then when you're in that layer, okay, you can do a mask and then paint back in what you want. So the mask is white, so I want to do black, obviously the opposite. And I'm just going to play around a little bit. I just want certain things to peek through, which of course we're going for weird. So there's my face coming at ya. I don't want it to go too far because I want it to be really blurry. And here's my little nest that I made with some wire, I think it was. I found in my garage. And the idea was basically like, whoa, it went by so fast. What happened? Because my oldest is graduating high school soon, which is crazy. So there's lots of emotions to process. It's kind of scary. She asks me the dumbest questions all the time, and she's going to be out in the real world, so look out. But she's also way more put together than I ever was or ever will be. Okay, so that to me looks okay for now. So yeah, there you go. And then you can turn it on and off, obviously. Let's see what I was going for here. I can lower the opacity and say, I don't know. I usually go a little crazy and strong. And then I can always back off if I want. So yeah. And then the next step is I would push it back into my Lightroom and go to color toning and really mess around with it. But I just wanted to get you started. Yay! If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully that made more sense. I should have picked probably a cleaner image, but yeah. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully that helped you out. And take care. Bye-bye.